Hello, my name is Michael Washington, Deputy Commissioner for Diversity, Inclusion, and Merit System Operations for the New York State Department of Civil Service. I'm proud to say that I started my career as a law enforcement professional with New York State as a correction officer for the New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision. I now serve in the capacity of Deputy Commissioner for a state agency, living proof that entry-level law enforcement positions can lead to great opportunities in state government. I would like to thank you all for joining us today for this panel discussion on careers in law enforcement within New York State. We're excited to have this conversation because the exam for entry-level careers in law enforcement has just been announced. And this is an excellent opportunity for job seekers to get some insight from the people who would know best about what it's like to work in the field of law enforcement in New York State. Before we begin the panel discussion, I'd like to start by having everyone on the panel introduce themselves by sharing your name, the agency you work for, your job title, and your years of service. So with that being said, let's start out with the representative for the University Police. We would then transition to the representative for State Parks, then the representative for DEC, the Forest Ranger, the representative for DEC, Division of Law Enforcement, and then we'll move to the administrative side, and you can introduce yourself, the Human Resource Specialist, and then the Director for Testing Services. So with that being said, representative for the University Police, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You muted, Officer Sweeney.
Hello, sorry. My name is Shannon Sweeney. I work with UB. I'm a university police officer. I've been with UB for about 6 years. My first about 2.5 years, I was a dispatcher, and for the last three and a half years, I've been an officer.
Thank you. Next up.
Hi, I am Sergeant Hall. I work for the New York State Park Police, and I've been on the job for 18 years.
Thank you. Next up. Lieutenant Ashita.
Hi, my name is Yuko Ashida. I'm with the Department of Environmental Conservation, Division of Forest Protection. I am a Forest Ranger Lieutenant, and I have been on this job for 6 years.
Excellent. Next up.
Hi, sorry.
Oh,
Next up is the Director for Division of Law Enforcement, NCON.
hello. My name is Karen Prislick. I'm the Director of Law Enforcement for New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, and I have a total of 30 years in law enforcement.
Wow, thank you. Now to the administrative side, starting out with the Human Resource Specialist.
Hi, my name is Najima Harimaat. I work for the Department of Civil Service. I am a Human Resources Specialist for Staffing, parens, and I have, in November, it'll be 38.4 years I've worked for the state of New York.
Thank you. And the Director of Testing Services.
Hi, my name is Deborah Bruns. I am the Director of the Testing Services Division at the New York State Department of Civil Service. I have worked for the department for a total of 17 years, but I just recently was promoted into my current position of Director.
Excellent. Thank you, panelists. For anyone watching, the exam that just been announced will be used to qualify candidates for the positions including Park Police Officer, University Police Officer, Forest Ranger, and Environmental Conservation Police Officer. We'll spend a few minutes later in the discussion talking about what you can expect from the exam, but I want to begin the conversation by hearing from our law enforcement professionals about what it's like to do their jobs. I have a series of questions for the law enforcement panel, and each panelist will respond to the same question. So let's start with SUNY. So the first question, starting with Police Officer Shannon Sweeney, and each panelist will also have the same question moving forward. Can you give us a sense of what a typical day on the job looks like for you and your thoughts on what skills are important to have to meet the daily challenges as a law enforcement professional for your respective agency?
Well, being on campus, each day is going to be different. We go to lineup, we get our assignments for the day, we check our vehicle, we drive around campus, walk buildings, and we wait for ourselves to be dispatched to a call. It could be anything from a first aid up into a fight, suspicious incident, anything in between that. And we're always, when we're driving around, we're actively, making sure that the vehicle and traffic laws of New York State are being followed. And skill-wise, in this career, you certainly have to be trustworthy and honest, and willing to change. Our jobs are changing all the time because of the laws. So that's something that you have to be willing and able to adapt to as you continue throughout your career.
Excellent. Thank you, Officer Sweeney. Sergeant Hall, same question.
Sure. As ambassadors to parks, we are responsible for the protection of the 180 plus state parks and historic sites. So any typical day, once again, there is no typical day in law enforcement. Every day is different. We do check our parks, we check the property, assist with patrons. We have visitors from worldwide to our state parks. So an encounter could be anywhere from giving directions to assisting somebody at their camping site. We do get criminal complaints in our parks, and we have very large special events, such as concerts at SPAC and on Jones Beach and out west at Art Park. We patrol some of the most beautiful places in the world, but things do happen. We actually had an officer just on regular patrol who was involved in a rescue last night that just happened out of the blue. So you have to be ready. You have to be prepared. As far as, job skills, you have to be able to multitask, good listening skills, patience, and being able to think on your feet and being ready for whatever is thrown at you in any given day.
Excellent. Thank you, Sergeant Hall. Lieutenant Ashita, same question.
So for a forest ranger, there is no typical day, just as most law enforcement. In each season, we have different things that are going on. We cover many things. Three main things that we cover is law enforcement on state lands, wildland fires, search and rescue. So depending on the time of the year, we have all the equipment and training necessary to be ready for incidents, which might include rope rescue, wildfire response, flood response, flood ice rescue, search for a lost or injured hiker. We might even get a complaint for target shooting on state land where it's prohibited. So every day we're ready for whatever might come our way. So in order to be ready for these different incidents, some of the skills that I think that are important, well, one main one would be mental fortitude. I think it's essential to have the right mindset when encountering any incident or emergency. Also, because we work in the outdoors where various conditions can bring different terrain, different weather conditions or other circumstances, it's really important that we're able to adapt to any changing situations.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Lieutenant. Director Presley.
Thank you. A little bit of background. We were founded in 1880, and we have a rich tradition of protecting New York State's fish and wildlife and natural resources. And since then, our duties have evolved immensely, but yet our mission and our focus remain the same. So any day could vary, could be different. As you know, with law enforcement, there are some dangers to the job, but we're looking at ways of protecting our environment and dealing with the effects of global climate change. And a day could be answering a complaint that came in through our dispatch center regarding illegal hunting or poaching of New York State's native wildlife. To a company or someone illegally dumping solid waste or hazardous waste, down the drain or burying it in a part of state land, to patrolling different violations, dealing with the illegal taking of New York's native fish and wildlife and our native reptiles and the market for the illegal pet trade. To perhaps hopping on a boat on a nice day or a jet ski and going out and patrolling New York State's various waterways for boater safety, doing checks for limits of our native fish, and also, doing patrolling for our wetlands. We have immense amount of wetlands through New York State. So any day is different, and you have the opportunity to choose some of those days and really get out there and enjoy New York State.
Wow, excellent. Thank you. Next question. What inspires you about public service from the perspective of law enforcement? And we will start off again with Officer Sweeney.
I am honored and I love the fact that I can participate in things like this. I've also participated in interview panels. I love community outreach, and being at UB, that's something that we pride ourselves on, is being able to spend time with our community. Over this past weekend, we just had Ride for Roswell, and if that doesn't inspire you, I don't know what does. Thousands of people come from all over to raise money for Roswell and hopefully curing cancer, and that's something that we get to host. And I get to thank all of those people who come here and visit our campus, because they're letting us watch over them. They're letting us be there for them while they're going on an adventure, anywhere from a 3-mile bike ride up into 100. We just have so many different backgrounds, so many people from all over the world that attend our school, and it's really nice that we actually get to take that time and get to know them and their culture, and hopefully put some positive impact on them, because I don't know where they're coming from or what their influences from policing in their country are. But when they come here, I hope to have a positive impact on them, that they can trust us and they can come to us if they need us at any point, even if they're lost and they don't know where to go, or something that we need to arrest someone for. Anywhere in between, we're here for them, and I just want to make sure that we can do that, and that's what I love about my job.
Excellent. Thank you, Officer Sweeney. Sergeant Hall, same question.
So obviously public service is a broad range. Like, there's a lot of people in public service, but the thing about it is, as far as law enforcement, is you need to want to help people. You need to want to help them in good times and in bad, because they're going to call us in their time of need, and they're going to call us to try to help solve their problems. And that, to me, is the most amazing thing, is that I can help somebody in their time of need solve their problem.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Lieutenant Ashita, same question.
So, I want to start off with my love of the outdoors is what gives me the passion to do this job. And the public service aspect of it is the main aspect that I love, because it's what I really want to do in my job is to protect our natural resources. And I believe that it's our duty to respect the land and also use it properly so that everyone can use it today and into the future. And one of the things that I really enjoy doing as a forest ranger is going to presentations, public presentations, or events. Let's say, for example, Maple Festival that you might have locally, and speak to the children and their parents about how to use our land properly so that we spread the right message and shape the future so that we can all use our land well into the future. And being the boots on the ground, I think it's really important for us to know that we can directly affect positive changes in our communities. So, that's an aspect of public service that I think is really important, to have that communication with the public.
Excellent. Thank you. Director Preslick, same question.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a lot of interactions with the citizens and people that recreate in New York State, and we are here to help people and ensure that all New Yorkers have clean air to breathe, clean water to drink and recreate in, and we want to educate people on the environmental conservation laws that are in place, and they're there to protect us and to protect New York State's native fish and wildlife and to protect the environment. Our hope is to educate, people by interactions and, the different details or events that we hold. And also through enforcement of these laws. And, it's our belief to leave a cleaner New York for the future of our children and the citizens of this state.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you. The next question is somewhat sensitive in nature. However, it's something that law enforcement professionals are dealing with across the country. And that's the issue of dealing with individuals who may look different than how you represent yourself. So with that being said, from your perspective, what is your agency doing to demonstrate its commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, both among the ranks of the officers within your agency, as well as dealing directly with the public? And again, we will start with Officer Sweeney.
We do our best with the civil service exam, the list that comes out that's provided to us, to hire whoever we can. Unfortunately, we can only hire within certain scores. But so the better you do, hopefully you'll be able to come here and get an interview. We have recently also been promoting and marketing the exam with our Educational Opportunity Center. So what they do is they actually hold test preparation in Buffalo. We're hoping to get a nice diverse population to come to these informational meetings and get answers and questions about our job, how we do, anything that they can do to be able to take the exam, what they need to do to be able to do that. Any questions they have about on the job. That's something that we've started with the last exam, and now we're continuing it with this one because we did get a good group of people that came out. And then we participate in yearly in-service trainings, and some of those trainings do include discussions about fair and impartial policing, as well as training cultural competency. And we do work with a diverse population, and we also have an internship program, which I think also helps, gap the barriers between us and our community as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Sergeant Hall, same question.
Same question. So being under the umbrella of New York State Parks, which welcomes 78 million visitors last year, the parks and state historic sites are rich in diversity. And when we enter our academy, and our core values for our agency is the acronym PRIDE. And part of that acronym is respect. And we are taught from day one to treat people fairly, to protect their rights and uphold the dignity of all, and to respect the vast cultural differences of our citizens and visitors. So the diversity of our visitors, we have to be on point to deal with everyone that's coming at us who might not look like us or act like us or live like us. So we've been, we learned that from day one when you walk into the academy, that we are welcoming everyone here in New York State Parks, and we want to make their visit as lovely as possible.
Excellent. Thank you. Lieutenant Ashita, same question.
Yes, so in our division, we have many opportunities for members of our division to train and advance within the division. We also have continuous recruitment efforts to reach bigger pools of candidates to hopefully bring in more diversity into our division. We are involved with public outreach programs in all of urban, suburban, and rural areas. Recently, we were invited to attend an environmental career day in a high school in the city of Peekskill. And upon interacting with a lot of the students, we find out time and again that a lot of people actually don't know that there's forest rangers in New York State. So, going to these public appearances, we're able to reach out to a population that might not know we exist and maybe even spark an interest. And so it's important for us to continue going to a lot of these career fairs and going to public appearances, understanding that there's environmental science programs all throughout the state in different parts of the state, and that we need to reach out to all the groups that we can within New York State to see if anyone's interested in a career in forest ranger. Also, I think that it's important for forest rangers to go out and speak to the public, because whenever I've seen other forest rangers speak at public events, you could really feel the enthusiasm and love of their job. And so if we could just convey that to more people around different parts of the state, then we can bring in more diversity within our division.
Excellent. Thank you. Director Preslek, same question.
Thank you. Our agency and our commissioner is dedicated to diversifying our ranks, and we have also just recently joined the 30 by 30 initiative to increase the ranks of women and minorities in our division, and I think that's really important. I am the first female director that has been appointed since 1880, and I'm very proud of that, and we move forward with that. We have such a rich and diverse melting pot of nationalities and cultures in New York State, and also within our agency, within the DEC, and it's made up of many different nationalities. My parents immigrated from Europe, and I'm first generation American, as are many people in this state. And we strive, looking for the best and the brightest to join our ranks to better represent the citizens of the state that we serve. We have diversity officers within our agency that we work with, the Office of Environmental Justice, to ensure that all citizens in New York State get the same services that we provide, regardless of race or ethnicity or et cetera. So I think that's really important, and we are working towards that as we speak.
Excellent. Thank you. Congratulations for being the first.
Thank you.
Yes, no problem. And thank you. Thank you to the panelists and my law enforcement professionals. I will double back with one final question towards the end of this conversation. So we spent the last few minutes talking about the skills needed to be a law enforcement professional in New York State. I'd like to now transition to the administrative processes a candidate will undertake when applying for an entry-level law enforcement position. With that being said, we'll spend a couple of minutes talking about how to navigate the civil service system and the benefits of working for New York State. We have the pleasure of having Najuma Haramat, Human Resource Specialist for the Department of Civil Service, who will respond to the following questions. So Najuma, these questions are now for you. What does someone who has no familiarity with the state government need to know about the process to apply for a career in law enforcement with New York State?
Well, thank you. It is a relatively easy process to apply for this wonderful opportunity. First, you would visit the Department of Civil Services website at www.cs.ny.gov, and then you'd click on a link that says Exams Open to the Public. From there, you'll see a listing of the upcoming examination announcements. In this particular case, you want to look for the exam announcements for career opportunities in law enforcement. So once you click on that link, it'll take you to a listing of our current titles in law enforcement. So I'll give you them again. It's Environmental Conservation Police Officer Training 1 with the Spanish and Chinese language parenthetics. It's Park Police Officer Training with the Spanish language parenthetic. Forest Ranger 1. University Police Officer 1 with the Spanish language parenthetic. And finally, Municipal Police Officer and Deputy Sheriff. Now, for those titles listed with a language parenthetic, an examination will be given in English, but you will be expected to pass a subsequent oral examination in that language to prove your proficiency in that language. The examination announcement will provide you with a variety of information. First, it'll give you information on the title, the location of the positions, salary information, the processing fee, minimum qualifications that you will need to sit for the exam, of course, the date of the examination, the deadline to apply, and the state's COVID policy. Now, for more detailed information for each of the titles, such as the duties descriptions to tell you exactly what happens in a particular position, well, you just simply click on the link below each title listed. Once you have reviewed all the information related to the position that you wish to apply to, you would click the button that says How to Apply and follow the instructions. If at any time you need to return to the Start button, the Start page, you look for the button that says How to Apply. So if you have any questions, you can email your questions to csq and a mail, no space, at cs.ny.gov.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for that. The next question is also for you, Najuma. Let's say, you have a job seeker, watching this conversation right now, and some of them may be thinking, what are the benefits? What are the advantages of choosing a career with New York State? So with that being said, could you just give us some examples of what are the benefits for those who decide to pursue a career with New York State?
Sure. There are many benefits choosing to pursue a career with New York State. And I probably will run out of time, but pursuing a career with New York State, you'll have a wonderful opportunity to help provide your family. There's excellent salary benefits, which increase each year based on your bargaining unit. You have the added benefit of affordable comprehensive health care, not just for you, but for the entire family. There are also opportunities to take promotion opportunities to move you up the career ladder. In addition, you can have a good work-life balance because for many of the positions, you work only 37.5 hours with 2 days off during the week. We also have generous time and attendance benefits, such as 12 days of holiday and 5 days personal per year, plus sick days and vacation days, depending on your union and amount of time that you work for the state. There are also programs such as tuition reimbursement, and that also depends on your education goals and your bargaining unit. And I feel a real bonus would be the state offers a guaranteed pension benefit to its retirees. So you can choose, there's so many things that about this particular opportunity. And I think that if you choose a career with New York State, it'll be an excellent choice to make.
Excellent. Thank you, Najuma. Thank you. We're also fortunate to have a representative from the Department of Civil Services Testing Services Division. Deborah Brunn serves as the Director for Testing Services for the Department of Civil Service. The goal of the next series of questions is to give job seekers some information about what they can expect from the civil service examination process. Now that the exam for entry-level careers in law enforcement has been announced, so Deb, with that being said, the next few questions are for you. Just to confirm, there is one exam being held that covers multiple entry-level titles. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. All of the entry-level law enforcement titles are tested for using one examination. This exam is the first step towards a rewarding career as a law enforcement professional in New York State. Individuals must take and pass this examination to be placed on the eligible list of the entry-level law enforcement titles for which they qualify.
Excellent, excellent. Can you tell us just a little bit more about the exam process? Is it multiple choice? Is it an online version where exams could be held, et cetera?
Sure. The exam is an in-person, paper and pencil, multiple choice exam. Once an individual applies for and is approved to take the exam, they will be assigned to a test site based on the address they have on file with the Department of Civil Service. Approximately 10 days before the date of the exam, test takers will receive an admission notice in the mail that contains all of the information that they will need to take the exam, including the name and address of their assigned test site, the time by which they need to report to the test site, and what they are and are not allowed to bring with them to the test site. There is a $35 fee to sign up for the exam. Applicants only need to pay one fee to apply for any or all of the titles covered by the examination. Individuals may qualify to have their examination fee waived under certain circumstances, and the exam announcement does have instructions on how to request such a fee waiver.
Okay. And how will an individual request a fee waiver?
What you want to do is go to the exam announcement, and there is an email address there that you can request right into to request a waiver of the examination fee. You do have to meet certain conditions for that to be approved. There is also information on our website that will go into details about requesting a fee waiver.
Excellent. Thank you very much. How can candidates prepare for an exam? Are there study guides available?
The exam announcement contains a description of the subject areas that individuals can expect to see on the exam. There is also a test guide for the examination entitled A Guide to the Written Test for the Entry-Level Law Enforcement Officer Series. This test guide is available on the Department of Civil Services website at cs.ny.gov/testing/test guide, one word, .cfm. This link is also included on the examination announcement. In addition to the test guide for the entry-level law enforcement officer titles, there is also a general guide on how to take a written test for state civil service examinations that can also be found on that website. And that is information that's included on the examination announcement.
Excellent. Thank you for that information. And last question for you, Deb. As a job seeker, how can someone sign up to take the exam?
Job seekers can sign up for the exam by completing an online or hard copy paper application and submitting the $35 application processing fee. In order to apply for this examination, individuals must have a personal ny.gov ID. If they do not have a personal ny.gov ID, they will need to create one. The examination announcement includes a link for creating a personal ny.gov ID, as well as a link to apply for the examination. After individuals apply, they will receive a notification from our department indicating whether they are approved to take the exam based on if they meet the minimum qualifications of the titles for which they applied. Job seekers are encouraged to visit cs.ny.gov/police for more information. We also encourage job seekers to read all of the information contained on the examination announcement very closely and to reach out to the Department of Civil Service if they have any questions.
Excellent. Thank you, Deborah Bruns. Thank you, Najuma Haramat, for that information. Very, very helpful. Now I would like to transition back to the law enforcement professionals who have been so kind enough to spend time with us today and provide valuable insights as it relates to their jobs and responsibilities. So my law enforcement professionals, if I'm a potential job seeker here in New York State, and you had 30 seconds to give me your best pitch as to why it's worth my time to pay for the application fee to take the exam to pursue a career in law enforcement, what would you say in that 30 seconds that you have allotted? With that being said, let's start off with Officer Sweeney. What's your 30-second pitch to get me to pursue a career with law enforcement in New York State?
Well, with being on campus, we're really able to help and assist people in a time of need of transitioning. They're transitioning from teenage to adulthood, and it's a very important transition because they're going to be our future leaders, and we're here to be able to protect them and point them in the right direction. And there's nothing more fulfilling than knowing that you're keeping them safe and you're putting them in the right direction, because one day they are going to be our leaders.
Great response. Thank you. Sergeant Hall, same question.
We work in, as far as parks is concerned, we work in the most beautiful places in New York State. And we're one of the best kept secrets in law enforcement. We're out on boats, we're out on snowmobiles, we're out on ATVs, we're out on regular patrol cars. Just the diversity of the job is just an amazing opportunity. As you can see, Letchworth, beautiful place in New York State. So join us.
Excellent. Thank you. Lieutenant Ashita, same question.
So in Forest Rangers, the career is just amazing because you can really branch out into so many different directions. If you're interested in ropes, you could become a rope rescue technician. You could become a drone operator, swiftwater technician, helicopter hoist operator. You could even fight wildland fire out of state, and people have gone out to California, Colorado, Alaska, and other states. So it's a job that has so much diversity into which way you can go, how specialized you want to become. And, let's face it, New York State is a beautiful state. We have, the Catskills, the Adirondacks, we have the Hudson River Valley, the shores of Long Island. There's so many different places to go and, explore this career. So with all the diversity and all the beautiful places to go, it's great.
Excellent. Thank you. Director Preslick.
Thank you. If you're looking for an exciting career in law enforcement and are passionate about protecting New York State's fish and wildlife, natural resources, then this career is definitely for you. We enforce all state laws, whether it's vehicle and traffic or penal law, but we specialize in our environmental conservation laws. We are the voice for New York State wildlife, and we worked hard to protect New York State's native wildlife against poachers. If you like to work in the great outdoors and you're passionate about protecting the environment against the effects of global warming or those that actually choose to, pollute our environment, then the Division of Law Enforcement is definitely the career path for you. We patrol in vehicles, in boats, in ATVs, in snowmobiles. So come check us out. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Great responses. If I wasn't in my current situation, I'd be signing up to take one of those exams, that's for sure.
Great.
Very convincing. Thank you all. Well, I would like to thank you to all our panelists today. If you're watching this, and if you made it this far in the discussion, you have an interest in law enforcement or in working for New York State. We encourage you to sign up for the exam because in doing so, you're not just signing up to take a test. You're signing up for a fulfilling career in public service and for an opportunity to make positive and meaningful contributions to communities throughout New York State. I hope you take advantage of this great opportunity, and I wish you all the best. Take care. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.